In this review, it's time to go big in a small scale. This model is by Diecast Masters and it's number 85653 and it's the 1:87 scale Caterpillar 6060 hydraulic mining front shovel in a coal configuration.
Let's weigh it up.
Onto the weighbridge it goes, and it comes in at just about 5 pounds 3 ounces, and that's 2.34 kilograms. As usual for Diecast Masters Highline series, it comes in an outer shipping carton. Opening it up, we can see there's a nylon bag inside, and we can use that to pull out the contents. Once again, it comes out with the closed end first, and perhaps one day we'll get lucky and get the open end first. Anyway, not to be deterred, we can pull out the metal tin that is inside. These metal tins are high quality, and there's a great photo of the real machine on the lid. And if we go to the side, there's another picture of the 6060. And here the scale is described as HO scale, which is 1:87. Turning the tin around, and this side has information about the real machine. This is a little bit unusual because there's lots there, but it doesn't mention the operating weight. And for your information, that is around about 600 metric tons. It's time to lift the lid and see what's inside. There's a piece of rubber foam on the top, and then we see some paperwork. And we'll have a bit more of a look at that in just a moment. Next out is a shaped plastic former, and you can see that that is nicely protecting the model. With that out, we can then try to lift out the model, and here you need to be just a little bit careful and make sure you're not applying pressure to some of the smaller parts. There is another piece of packaging, and it's shaped to hold a few extra parts, and these are all related to having the operator in the cab. The paperwork includes a simple instruction sheet telling you how to insert the operator, and there's also a small Diecast Masters leaflet which shows the models which are coming soon. And in fact, one of the coming soon models is this one, which is already here. The final bit of unpacking is to remove some protection from the crawler tracks. For the assembly, we'll put the operator in the cab, and we'll treat him with the respect he deserves by holding him by his head. And what thanks do you get for that? He tries to play awkward. It is quite shocking behaviour by this employee towards management. But if that's how it's going to be, there needs to be some discipline. And soon enough, the operator is obedient and sits in his seat. All we do now is seal him in by adding the roof, and we're not going to let him out. Ever.
Let's weigh it up again.
The heavy lifting gear puts the 6060 on the weighbridge, and it's just over 3 pounds, which is 1.38 kilograms. We start underneath because someone's tipped the machine over, and the crawler tracks are metal. The undercarriage appears to be tough plastic and the model numbers marked on, and the underside of the body has got some shape to it. The modelling of the track frames in this scale is very good, and the non-functioning rollers are also modelled. The track pads are shaped, and at one end the big drive motors are also modelled. The various mounting points for the boom and boom hydraulics are modelled, and there are some very sharp graphics for CAT and 6060. The ladder going up to the cab is a plastic part, and the cab itself is metal. The plastic roof has a beacon light, and all of the handrails on the model are plastic, and it's good that the mirror has a silvered surface. Looking inside the cab, there is reasonable detail considering the small scale. Although all of the handrails are plastic, they look quite reasonable, and the main stairs up to the cab deck are metal. The hydraulic staircase is an all-plastic part, with the hydraulics being too small to model. A very nice detail is the various grills, and they're formed by proper indentations in the casting. And the appearance of the rear end is impressive. The opposite side also looks convincing, and there are some more nice sharp cat graphics. Again, the indented grills look very good. Looking on top, the detail is produced by large plastic exhaust and air intake boxes. And some decent looking textured surfaces also enhance the look. Inside the machine at the boom foot there's some impressive hydraulics modelling, with many soft hoses. And that also continues up onto the top of the boom, where the detailing looks great considering the 1:87 scale. There are more plastic handrails and some nice textured walkway surfaces. The hydraulic hoses continue over onto the stick, and it's nice that lifting eyes are also modelled. The painted connection pins are a plus point, and the big hydraulic rams all have hoses running to them. There are also more small graphics on the stick. Finally, we come to the huge coal bucket, and that is a very detailed metal part. There's detailing within the casting, and there's also hydraulic hoses running to the internal mechanism. The inside of the bucket also has lots of detail within the casting. Once again we start underneath and the crawler tracks roll easily enough by hand, but there's too much friction for them to roll on a smooth surface. The tracks are tensioned in the usual way with a spring-loaded idler. Even on a rough surface there's too much friction for the tracks to roll easily. In terms of rotation, the model performs very well, and if you want to go up and operate the machine, there's a hydraulic stair which can be lowered, and this works reasonably well on the model. Moving on to the digging functions, and the hydraulic rams are very stiff. They therefore can certainly hold any pose, and there's some nice movement, particularly on the bucket. The bucket hydraulics are also quite smooth, so it is possible to pose the model in a realistic way. You can also pose it as if it was digging, and the only thing to be careful of is how you hold the model while you alter those very stiff hydraulics. Although this model is 1:87 scale, it is still quite big and it's heavy, and all that goes to indicate the size of the real machine. Diecast Masters has produced a very nice looking model of this big mining shovel, and it's got some very nice detailing and also interesting functionality. All it needs is a matching mining truck, but overall it's good enough to be rated as excellent.